Hello and welcome back to my channel. I am Mercedes and this is the Frugal Life with Mercedes. Today we are going to talk about just treat yourself culture. In our society, we have this mentality that we need to just treat ourselves. And that's all well and good. And I know that there's been past generations that struggled with taking time for vacation or buying themselves nice things or pampering themselves or I don't deserve this or justifying the costs of things. And that is not good because you're not a bad person because you go and get a pedicure. You're not a bad person because you occasionally go get your hair done or take time to take a vacation or take a day off of work for just because. However, we are in a situation where treat me culture has gone way too far. There are people that are in obscene amounts of debt and are barely hanging on to a job because they're taking too much time off, time that they have not accrued, and it is affecting people. So you'll see this on social media quite a bit, where especially I see this on my side of the internet because I follow and look at people who are on budgets, are financially conscious, and they'll be like, well, I wanted to get blah, blah, blah at the grocery store, but I stick to a such and such budget and it wasn't in the budget. And people are like, oh girl, treat yourself, or you're not gonna be broke over $5, and you know what I mean? And kind of berating the person for being financially responsible. And everybody's excuse is treat yourself. But there has to be limits. Maybe that person's on a strict budget because they have financial goals. They're trying to get out of debt. They're trying to change their ways. Or maybe, you don't know, maybe they just bought themselves something really expensive, so they really need to stick to a budget in the other categories of their life. Just because what you see, whether it be in real life or on the internet, you never know the full picture. I could literally say this for every single video that I make. If I post a video on a grocery haul and say I'm sticking to a $100 budget and I wanted XYZ, but it wasn't in the budget, you don't know what's behind that. Am I saving for a vacation? Did I have an unexpected medical expense? Am I really trying to save money for whatever? Am I in an obscene amount of credit card debt and I really don't have the money to just treat myself? And those $5 and $10 and $20 and even $2, they add up over time. And so you do want to treat yourself and you want to value yourself, but there has to be limits. You cannot get a manicure, a pedicure, your hair done, skip 3 days of work every week, be on a vacation every other week, and expect to meet your financial goals. You just can't. So that is why money management is personal. Personal finance is personal. What I value is not going to be the same thing that you value. And if you compare bank accounts to people that are so obsessed with treat me culture and people who are like, I do treat myself, but within limits, I'm sure financially they would be way different. So you do want to treat yourself. You do want to honor yourself and your hard work by taking those days off, by buying things that you like. But there has to be limitations. And just swiping the credit card and dealing with it later, how is that treating yourself? It's not. You are disrespecting future you by putting it off, putting it off, putting it off. And so those are all things that you have to think about. So treat me culture has been way too far. I know when I was in my early 20s, they called it YOLO, you only live once. And so people would justify bad financial decisions or bad life decisions with, well, YOLO. Well, yes, you only live once. However, the decisions that you make today are going to affect you 5, 10, 15, 30 years down the road. Now, that does not mean that you should not spend any money. That doesn't mean that you should never go anywhere, do anything. But have you ever noticed that that's always somebody's justification? Well, you only live once. Or I've also heard well, you're only in your 20s and 30s once, and then once you're in your 50s and 60s, your mobility and your health and your this and there's this and there's that. And it's like, yes, but imagine being 70 and still having to work because of the decisions you made when you were 20. There are people in that situation, and you don't want to be in that situation. So just remember, treat yourself in moderation. And remember, what is important to you is okay. If you want to live off ramen noodles so that you can go on crazy vacations, have at it. If you want to spend half your paycheck every month on tattoos, on clothes, on eating out at restaurants, that is your prerogative. And nobody gets to tell you what is or isn't important or valuable to you. But it can't all be important. It can't all be valuable. You can't have the biggest house in the neighborhood, a new car every year, a new phone every 6 months, going on 20 vacations a year. And if you're not making the money to make up for that, it's got to come from somewhere. Your future self will thank you if you kind of look at the money that you spent treating yourself and how much of that was really for you and your soul and aligns with your values, and how much of that was family, friend pressure, media pressure, social media influence. And going forward, only spend money and treat yourself with things that you value, you can afford, and that align with your values. Okay, guys, thank you so much for watching. Please consider subscribing to my channel, and until next time, bye.